Getting more in tune with your higher self is one of the steadfast values of this channel. And one of the main components of becoming your highest self is developing self-love. I think self-love as a concept is a little bit misunderstood. I think that people think that self-love can only be one thing, or that it can only resemble one thing, that it's supposed to look one certain way. But I personally believe that there's actually 10 components to self-love. I think there are 10 variants as to what self-love looks like. And if you have all 10 of these, then you're in really good shape. But I think most of us are at least trying to push for at least one or two, but we really should be striving for all 10. We really should be trying to look for all 10. And you're not going to be perfect. You know, no one is perfect, but this is a whole guide to trying to help you develop your self-love better. So this is the 10 components of self-love. The first version that I want to discuss is self-acceptance. Do you accept yourself? Do you love yourself as you are? You know, can you accept yourself as you are? Because no matter what stage you are in life, no matter what version of yourself you currently are, do you love yourself as you are? You know, you need to be able to accept whatever stage that you're at, whether you're at your lowest or whether you're at your highest or somewhere in between. You need to accept yourself and love yourself as you are. You know, that is the key portion of this. So do you recognize your own value? And if you're having a hard time with that, then the key to self-acceptance is starting to develop a positive image of yourself. So use that to guide you towards self-acceptance. Now I want to discuss self-awareness. Do you know yourself? Do you know yourself? Do you understand yourself? Do you get you? You know, it's not like you're going to always know yourself completely. This is a journey throughout life where you're going to come to terms with yourself and discover new portions of yourself, and you're going to change, you're going to morph, right? But overall, as a whole, do you understand yourself? Can you look at your faults and your flaws? Are you self-aware? Are you able to look at yourself and see what is desirable and what is undesirable? What are the things that you need to improve upon, and what are the things that you're already good at? Are you self-aware? And with that comes consciousness of your actions. Are you aware of your actions? Are you conscious of your choices? Do you know exactly what you're doing at all times? Are you in the driver's seat, or are you on autopilot? A part of self-love is being self-aware. So be aware of yourself. Know thyself. You know what I'm saying? Have knowledge of self. I think this next portion is incredibly powerful and incredibly important. Self-compassion. Can you forgive yourself? Can you look yourself in the mirror and be able to say, I forgive myself for past transgressions. I forgive myself for my mistakes. I forgive myself for anything that's my fault. I forgive myself. I'm able to get past it. Do you have compassion for yourself? Are you able to be able to look at yourself and go, it's okay? Do you pat yourself on the back? Do you actually give yourself any sort of credit? You know what I mean? We work hard. We do a lot of things. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we succeed. Are you able to actually congratulate yourself when you are successful with something? I know you can't physically hug yourself, but do you emotionally hug yourself? Do you emotionally shake your own hand? Do you emotionally tend to your own wounds and tend to yourself, you know? Do you look at yourself as somebody who deserves to be loved? You got to have compassion for yourself. And one thing that's really going to help you when it comes to self-compassion is trying to heal through childhood traumas and inner wounds, you know? You need to be able to look at these things that happen to you, and you need to be able to take care of your inner child. You need to be able to look at your inner child and say, it's okay. I understand that this happened to you, but it's okay. It's not your fault. I love you. I care about you. Do you tell yourself that you love yourself? You know what I mean? Do you tell yourself that you love yourself? Do you actually show yourself in any capacity that you care about yourself, right? That you care. You got to show yourself that you care. You got to be compassionate with yourself. The next one is self-respect. When it comes to self-respect, you need to ask yourself the tough questions, you know? What is too low for you? What is not worth your time? What is something that you will not tolerate? What is behavior that you will absolutely not tolerate from anybody? What are you willing to walk away from? What are you willing to say no to? Self-respect is exactly that. Self-respect is you being able to look at yourself and go, I am too big for this. I am too good for this. And I'm not saying this in a prideful way or in a way that's like trying to be cocky. It's more like, no, I actually am too good for this. This does not work for me. This does not serve me. So I will not behave this way, or I will not go to this place, or I will not engage with this person. Self-respect is being able to tell yourself to say no to things. Self-respect is about enforcing boundaries. You gotta have boundaries. Boundaries are healthy. You know what I'm saying? And there is a way for boundaries to become unhealthy. There is a way for you to be a little bit too guarded and too jaded, but boundaries are healthy in moderation, and you are supposed to have them and you are supposed to enforce them. What will you not allow in your world? What is not tolerated in your world? You know what I'm saying? You are building your world up, and self-respect is how your world stays enforced. The next component is self-reflection. Do you have discernment? Do you ever analyze yourself? Do you ever look at the things that you're doing and analyze and say, am I following my core principles? Am I following my core values? Am I sticking to my word? Am I doing the things that I know are what I am in alignment with? You got to be able to reflect. You got to have discernment. You need to embrace your core principles, your core values. What is your code of conduct that you will follow? You know what I'm saying? What is your personal code of ethics? What are your ironclad rules that you will not break for anybody? What are your non-negotiables? The key to understanding this component of self-love is that you are the only one who knows whether or not you are breaking your own rules. You are the only one who knows whether or not you are enforcing your boundaries. You are the only one who actually knows whether or not you are in alignment. Are you doing what you say that you're going to do? You are the only one that knows that. So you got to be real with you. You got to keep it real with you. If you are not enforcing this upon your life, if you're not reflecting and being able to look and evaluate and see, am I following my own code of conduct? You're not showing yourself that you love yourself. Because you got to reflect. You got to have that discernment. The next component is self-regulation. And what I mean by self-regulation is, are you regulating yourself? You know what I mean? Like, do you actually go to bed on time? Are you eating a healthy diet? Do you have some sort of exercise that you do? Some sort of fitness routine? You know what I mean? You don't have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect, right? I want you to understand that when it comes to self-regulation, it's not about being this perfect being who goes to bed at the perfect time every night and eats the perfect diet and has the perfect exercise routine. It's about just having that in your life to begin with. It's about just making sure, like, do you regulate yourself? Do you understand that you have a code of conduct that you need to follow within yourself in order to live a healthy life, to be successful, you know? You want to be happy, you got to have a code. You got to be regulating that code. Self-regulation is about prioritizing your overall well-being. And that means your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your relationships with other people. You got to be prioritizing your whole overall well-being. Do you engage in self-care? Do you actually take care of yourself? That is what self-regulation is about. It's about actually taking care of yourself. It's about taking yourself seriously enough to take care of yourself. Regulate. You know what I'm saying? Regulators, mount up. You know what I mean? The next portion goes hand in hand with that, and that is self-governance. Self-governance is all about discipline. It's all about accountability. It's being able to take that self-regulation and be disciplined about it. It's about being able to say, okay, if my routine is I go to the gym 3 times a week, am I actually doing it? You know what I'm saying? You got to have the discipline to actually go all 3 times. If it's, hey, I'm going to eat healthy 5 days out of 7 days, and 2 days out of the week, I can eat a little bit of junk. You know what I'm saying? A little 80-20 rule. Your self-governance is like, I'm accountable for making sure that I stick to that. Do I adhere to it? The next portion is incredibly important, and that is self-belief. Do you believe in yourself? You can't have self-love if you don't believe in yourself. If you don't think highly of yourself, if you don't feel like you can achieve things, if you don't feel like you can do things. You got to have belief of yourself. Do you take yourself seriously? Are you confident? You know what I'm saying? Are you actually confident? And I mean that in a real way. Do you have intrinsic value? Does your confidence come from within? Does it not come from something external? You know what I mean? Does your confidence come from what you've been able to accomplish in your life and how you feel about yourself? Or does it come from clothes? Does it come from a car? Does it come from a certain person that you're dating? Does it come from money? Does it come from, you know what I'm saying? Is it intrinsic or is it extrinsic? You are in charge of where your value comes from. And your value needs to come from within. So you got to develop that self-belief. You got to walk around with the emotional conviction of being able to say, I believe in myself. I trust myself. I think that I'm worthy. Do you actually take yourself seriously? Do you believe that you can do it? Whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? Do you believe you can get that job? Do you believe you can get that girl? Do you believe you can get that guy? Do you believe that you can make this happen, that you can manifest your dreams? Do you believe? You gotta believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Parappa the rapper, you gotta believe. I gotta believe. Believe. The next portion is incredibly difficult, but it is incredibly important. And that is practicing self-control. Do you have the power to practice restraint? Do you have the power to tell yourself no when you need to tell yourself no? Can you actually say, you know what? I am not going to call that person. I'm not going to talk to this person anymore. I'm not going to engage in this habit anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have a dry January, so I'm not drinking all January. Do you actually have the power within to be able to say no? Every time that urge pops up, every time something comes in a way and you're like, I feel like I need to, are you able to say no? Are you able to let go? Are you able to be like, I'm not going to do it? Being able to tell yourself no is one of the most powerful things in the world. No is one of the most powerful words in the world. But it is most powerful when you can tell it to yourself. Practice self-control. Tell yourself you're not going to eat that chip. Tell yourself you're not going to drink that drink. Tell yourself you're not going to call that person. You have control over yourself. And that shows that you love yourself. And the very last one is self-approval. Do you validate yourself, or do you need to feel validated from someone else? Do you feel worthy by yourself as is, as you are? Or do you need someone else to tell you that you are worthy? So that means you stop people pleasing. That means you stop explaining yourself. That means that you just approve of yourself overall altogether. Because you have value. You have worth. You know what I'm saying? You have worth. Believe that to your core. And that shows that you love yourself. But hey, that's all I really wanted to talk to y'all about today. I just wanted to go through these 10 components of self-love. I hope that this helps you out. I hope this is a perfect guide to help you figure out how to go on your self-love journey. I just want to tell you that I appreciate you so much for watching. Because honestly, realistically, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. So much love. I hope to see you in the next one. All right, peace.